Welcome back to another one of my car talks. This time I'm on my way to work. Sometimes I'm coming home from work. And I was listening to a video about 40 things, 40 harsh truths I wish I knew when I was younger by David Epstein. Apparently he's a writer for Sports Illustrated. Pretty influential guy, written some books. I don't know too much about him, but the video title, it grabbed my attention, and I was kind of hooked because he talked about a lot of things that are great. But number 39 was particularly good because he said something interesting. He said, "Decide, don't slide into commitments." And I felt like, man, that's such a great line, and that's a video in and of itself. So I thought, well, let me make the video then. I'm going to talk about it. And I really like that idea because he talks about how it's easy for you to kind of slide into escalating commitments. And he talked about actually in relation to relationships, where he said, at least he was using an example of some people might slide into a relationship that escalates into commitment because, the lease is up and you feel like you guys could live together and make things happen. But instead of making the decision to actually become a more serious relationship, getting married, making a true commitment, and then resentment can build up because you slid into something that you didn't really decide was that serious, and by making the actual commitment. So it's like making decisions, and I think you can fall into escalating commitments even at work, any situation, where you're taking on more and more, but you never really decided that was the role that you wanted, or that was the right role for you. And I'm going to talk about God and prayer, because I think that it's one of those things that that's why prayer is really important in your life, because when you pray, God will reveal to you what decisions you need to make, and you won't slide into commitments, because that's happened for me. There's been times where I've just kind of slid into certain decisions without really giving it as much thought or prayer, or even feeling obligated. Like I was feeling obligated to make a decision, and I knew that was not right. I started to realize it was not right later because I started to resent the decision. As a matter of fact, there's been things where I don't really enjoy doing certain work get-togethers, or things like that. And I just had to make a decision, I'm not going to commit to that because I don't think I want to do it, And I started to realize that I said I was going to go, and now I really don't want to go, and actually as soon as I said I was going to go, I immediately regretted it. So it's really important, that you're able to, as Dave Ramsey says, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to actually explain anything. You don't have to commit to stuff you don't want to do. That's it. You just say no. Oh, no, thank you. That's it. You don't have to explain why. But yeah, I think that this whole concept of sliding into commitments, it's easy to do it because you get pulled into feeling obligated to do things. And I think that's at the core of how people slide into stuff, is it feels like an obligation. Sometimes just out of niceness, you're just being nice, so you you say yes because you feel like that's the right thing to do. But as the Bible teaches, there's a way that feels right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. Sometimes it feels right that we should support somebody, but at the end it ends up hurting us. It feels right that we shouldn't, let's say you shouldn't get someone in trouble for something they're doing wrong, but they're committing a crime, and then you end up becoming pulled into their crime because you don't do the right thing by exposing darkness, because that's what the Bible teaches us. We're supposed to expose darkness, and it can conflict with the idea of, you know, a friend conceals a matter, you know, but it's like you have to use discernment of what you conceal and what you confess. And we don't want to get pulled into things that end up really building resentment or even can ruin our lives. And I think it's important to think about that. Like, this is your life, you know, and you have to make decisions in your life. And in a way, I guess I'm talking to myself here, that, you know, it's important to make decisions, not just continually coasting, because that's how you become an NPC, you know. That's how you just live your life on autopilot. You're just sliding into decisions, sliding into commitment instead of deciding on those commitments. Because then when you decide on it, you know, you're bought into it, and you're also going to do better at the thing you're committing to than you would if you just kind of slid into it and felt obligated to it. It's like you're bought in, you want to do it versus you feel obligated to do it. So I hope that helps somebody. I'm gonna post a link in the description for the original video because I think it's great and everybody should watch it. All right, peace. God bless.